Top 10 Most Terrifying Creepypastas Ever Told. 10. Slenderman. Before this pale, faceless ghoul had his own movie and video game series, he haunted the forums of the internet with his finely pressed suit and unnaturally long limbs. The Slender Man's story is not a narrative one, but a pseudo-historical look at this monster's history with humanity that is tied into several other creepypastas. Typically, the Slender Man preys on children and those who become obsessed with his existence, though no one knows exactly what happens to the bodies since no one has ever escaped from an encounter with him. Suggested stories featuring the Slender Man include the Tall Man and the Marble Hornets videos. 9. Candle Cove. Everyone has a television show from their childhood that they fondly remember. Like those who nostalgically recall the adventures of Dora the Explorer, Mr. Rogers, and Sesame Street, some adults rediscovered their favorite show from the 1970s, Candle Cove, on a television forum in this creepypasta. Slowly, their memories of the show grow darker and more disturbing until one of the adults asks his mother about the true nature of the show. The forum format of the story adds a spooky realism to the tale, also making it easy to recreate and share on other boards. If you find this story particularly compelling, watch the first season of the sci-fi original series Channel Zero, which is based off this creepypasta. 8. Jeff the Killer. If you've never laid eyes on the infamous image of Jeff the Killer before, consider yourself lucky. The basic story concerns Jeff, a serial killer who hides in the closet and whispers "go to sleep" to its victim before slaughtering everyone in the household. Even more disturbing than his MO is his appearance. His face is smooth and stark white, a huge grin and small lidless eyes. He is one of the most easily recognizable creepypastas, with his eerie stare posted across forums. His origin story involves a fight that resulted in a chemical burn on his face and caused him to suffer a mental break. Soon after, he murdered his family and disappeared into the night to make guest appearances in your nightmares. 7. Smile Dog. If there's any story on this list that best captures the message "be careful what you wish for," Smile Dog is it. The creepypasta deals with an image posted on an old bulletin board system back in 1992 called smile.jpg. Those who saw the image either disappeared or died, save for one Mary E., who the narrator goes to interview. What he eventually learns is that some things, even simple pictures, are better left as mysteries than dealing with the horrifying truth. In case you were wondering, the story does come with an accompanying image, but you may not want to see it after reading the full story. Though, in the end, you may not have a choice. 6. Ghost Ambulance of Monterey, Mexico. This next creepypasta is a series of videos that come from Monterey, Mexico. According to the story, a man was murdered on the street of Ave del Paraíso, San Nicolas de los Garza, Nuevo León. He was taken to the scene aboard a car, and his perpetrators shot him at point-blank range. He passed away just as the ambulance arrived to pick him up. The roadside cross now marks the site of the tragic event. But here's where things get strange. Drivers began to realize that every time they drive by this roadside cross while listening to radio station 690 AM, their car stereo reception was interrupted by the unexplainable sound of an ambulance siren.
Ya vemos la cruz ahí. No mames, güey. No mames, güey.
Ahí está la cruz.
No mames, güey. No mames.
Ahí se ve la cruz en la orilla, que es esa mierda.
No mames, güey. Güey, mira, güey. Güey. No mames, güey.
Ahí vamos. Por allá está la cruz. Dale lento, más lento. ¡A la madre! ¿Dónde está la cruz? Dale.
Ahí está la interferencia, güey. Déjame retorno. Trata de grabar rápido. No, güey. Trata de grabar la cruz, güey. No veo la cruz, güey. Bueno, ni yo, pero se supone que esta es la pinche interferencia. Ah, ya la vi, creo que se trata. Pero ya, güey, ya por el video.
Más los que se van a poner en forma muy específica para el área que tenía lastimada y que muy necesariamente
Escucha al fondo.
y adelante.
Muy a huevo se escuchó.
Continúa.
Muy a huevo.
Si escuchas hasta al fondo, escuchar.
Lento
A
camino.
ver, por atáchate ahora.
Pues un descanso pasivo obligado, pero con actividad física de los segmentos y articulaciones
A ver,
que no tienen problema. Pues ahora vamos a saludar, es casualidad, a otra jovencita.
Seleccionando temas, seleccionando músicos que para grabar y hacer pues algo bonito, algo que el público se merece, ¿no? Ahorita en cuestión musicalmente hablando no hay tantas mujeres que canten este género, entonces como que quisimos llenar ese espacio y aprovecharlo, porque ya no hay. Siempre he sido solista. Siempre, la verdad como que no se me da mucho, así como que ya
contacto con Satán, el
Seúl, toda la vida. Y tu producción.
Nosferatu, güey.
Mira, el disco ya
Chenglong.
está.
5. Siren Head. Siren Head is a fictional monster created by Trevor Henderson. It is a tall, emaciated being with a pair of symbolic sirens where a head would normally go, which are capable of emitting various noises, both natural and man-made, including sirens, radio broadcasts, white noise, and human voices. An ambush predator, it always hides in plain sight and sometimes mimics the voices of its past victims to lure any potential prey closer. The creature is one of many monsters in Trevor Henderson's found footage style art, including the cartoon cat, bridge worm, long horse, cartoon dog, and more, and has been the subject of multiple video games, the most popular being a short horror game independently developed by Modus Interactive with the permission of Henderson. The game was originally created in 2018 for a PlayStation-themed game jam, and gained an increase in popularity in 2020 after being showcased by various big gaming YouTubers and streamers, including PewDiePie, Markiplier, and Jacksepticeye. Siren Head was also included in a popular Fallout 4 mod, called Whispering Hills. Another game, titled Siren Head, was developed by Undreamed Panic and praised for its visuals and sound design. 4. Ben Drowned. Hacked video games are often found in creepypastas, but none is more infamous than Ben Drowned, the story of Matt, a college-age boy who picks up a hacked cartridge of The Legend of Zelda, Majora's Mask at a garage sale. As the boy plays, he captures the strange occurrences in the game and real life until it ultimately culminates into a full haunting. The narrator and Ben's fates are left up to the reader's imagination, but the tale implies that a happy ending is not in the realm of possibility. This creepypasta is one of the few that integrate multiple types of media into the story. There is the text of the story itself, both a formal post version that went up on 4chan's forums in real time and a diary included on the final post, and videos of the disturbing gameplay under the YouTube channel Alex Hall, originally Jaja Sable. The footage includes a warped soundtrack, terrifying glitches, and a creepy statue that is supposed to be Ben following the player around. While the story is clearly fictional, the level of dedication to creating this eerie story makes it worth the read. 3. Where the Bad Kids Go. Much like Candle Cove, this is about a half-forgotten children's TV show. Whilst living in Lebanon as a child, the writer would see a show on the children's channel every day, only understanding some of the Arabic, filled with unsettling images and forced lessons like bad kids stay up late or bad kids take things that aren't theirs. It would always end with a slow zoom on a rusted, bolted door in the corner with the text, "This is where the bad kids go." Years later, as a photojournalist, the writer remembers the show and finds the burned-out studio it was filmed in, including the door where the bad kids went, and discovers what lies behind it. There isn't a big surprise at the end, but knowing just where the story is taking you adds to the horror. 2. The Russian Sleep Experiment, a staple of best creepypasta lists everywhere. The title of the story itself carries with it a sense of dread and horror. Shortly after World War II, 5 political prisoners are subjected to an experiment in which they have to remain awake for 30 days in a tank filled with an experimental gas. As with most science gone wrong stories, the test subjects begin to lose their minds among a number of other gruesome symptoms. The horror does not end when the experimenters try to save their subjects, far from it. Just know that this story may not be appropriate if you are squeamish or dislike gore, as the narrative goes into graphic detail about the physical state of the patients. Thankfully there are no pictures, or this would be the ultimate nightmare fuel. 1. Robert the Doll. Not for the faint of heart, Robert the Doll really exists. The myths surrounding him vary, especially since he became so popular on the internet. The doll was given to artist Robert Eugene Otto in the late 1800s or early 1900s by his grandfather while he was on a trip to Germany. The doll, which he named after himself, then took on a life of its own and began to scare the family. Otto is said to have kept his doll into adulthood, and it subsequently led his late wife to insanity. The doll is currently residing in the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. Visitors must ask Robert politely if they want to take his photo. If they mock him or take his photo without permission, Robert is said to lay a curse on them.